Welcome back. Every day at noon on the TD web broker platform, you can catch Money Talk Live, hosted by Greg Bunnell. Every show, viewers not only get a chance to listen to interesting guests, but they also get to ask their questions. And Greg joins me now and has some highlights from some of the interesting guests you've had on this week. Who'd you got?
Michael Craig, head of asset allocation at TD Asset Management. I know he often joins you on this show. He often joins us on Money Talk Live. Michael is among one of our most popular guests on the show. People always sort of want to get a sense of his insight. So as Kim was saying, the whole point of the show every day is to take the viewer questions in real time, get the guest to answer them. So right off the hop, Michael's asked the big one that everyone has on their mind. He was asked about the state of the economy. Do you anticipate a hard or soft landing?
Yeah, we're positioned for both. I'll put it to that way. So there are certain aspects of the backdrop right now that are quite ominous. Commercial real estate in the U.S. has struggled. Credit conditions are tightening. We do have this backdrop of a world that has a lot of debt. We're not talking about, it's not 1980s when debt levels are very low. And so that, in the back of my mind, is one where it does give me pause. And like I said earlier, don't listen to me. The IMF's calling kind of 1 in 7 that global growth drops to 1%, which would be a pretty severe recession because that includes emerging markets. So that would be, on the flip side, there isn't an obvious massive imbalance right now. It's not like I can point to something and say, oh, there's been tons of capital that's chased this really bad idea that has to be kind of blown up like we saw with U.S. residential real estate in the 2000s. And so it's not clear to me where, what part of the economy is really vulnerable in terms of multiple years of excess of investment that's gone into non-productive assets. And so our kind of thought process is we go into some type of recession this year, but it's not going to be a deep and brutal credit crunch like we saw in 2008. But I wouldn't want to dismiss it as not impossible.
He's a smart guy.
And that's the thing about the guests. I mean, there's a whole host of people on the show who can take questions in real time, can answer those questions on the fly. Most of the time, we're talking with people from across TD because there's a lot of intelligence there, a lot of wealth to tap. Every once in a while, we have someone from outside the organization. Like this week, we had Kathy Wood, of course, CEO and CIO of ARK Invest. She was the guest on Tuesday. We had a conversation off the top of the show about artificial intelligence, all the rage, and some of the investment opportunities there.
We think it's terrific that finally something in the innovation space like ChatGPT has captured both the consumer and the business imagination and is really helping people understand that the world of innovation is changing very quickly, and the changes are pretty profound. I'm not sure if you've experimented with it, but from an educational point of view, it's going to change education. It's going to change work completely, even in areas like developers, engineering. We're seeing coding productivity go up twofold within less than a year. And we actually think that could go up tenfold. And of course, that's been an area of great labor shortages. So I know there was also an announcement today, IBM said it was going to hire no more people in the back office. And so for back office work, ChatGPT and AI generally is probably going to take the place of human beings. But it's in that regard, it's going to take people out of, some areas that are tedious, shall we say, and create other opportunities that we think are going to be pretty exciting.
It was a great conversation.
And you talk about artificial intelligence, of course, it gets the audience who are viewing it in real time asking us questions about, different parts of the market that might feed into that. We were, of course, asked about the chip sector. What's your view of the semis space right now? Semiconductors, we're going to need them.
Absolutely. If you look at NVIDIA, GPUs are the gating factor for computing power out there. And the massive amount of computing power that we're going to need for the AI age, the AI revolution. And we know AMD is going to try and compete in that market, but really NVIDIA has had pretty much a lock on it. Now, NVIDIA is priced accordingly. That is why, as we're trying to focus on who the real winners are going to be, we're looking for companies with proprietary data. The proprietary data is what's going to differentiate one company from another. Because if you look at OpenAI and Llama, which is Meta Platforms, and all the various flavors of GPT-3, GPT-4, what you're seeing is they're open source, and therefore they're commoditizing this market, which means it will move very quickly. So what will make the difference? It will be proprietary data that companies can add to all of the data out there to tune their models and make them more accurate and more successful than others.
All right, so some interesting stuff there from Cathie Wood. Of course, we do a show every day of the week. That means we always have a roster of guests coming up. For next week, we've got James Dixon. He's from the Family Office Solutions of TD Securities. Great macro view. Damian Fernandez always has a keen eye on the markets. Michael O'Brien talks Canadian equities. You may have noticed I jumped over May 10th there because I want to go back. Thomas Feldmate, senior economist at TD. That is U.S. inflation print day. We got a data-dependent Fed, so these CPI releases have been very important so far. It's going to be a very important day as well.
That's amazing. Thanks so much for the roundup. And just a reminder to everybody, we want to get your questions in. So head to WebBroker at noon every day. Greg Bunnell is taking his questions. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
That is it for our show. Reminder, any comments or questions, if you'd like to get in touch with us, email us at moneytalk@td.com. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kim Parley, and we do hope to see you again next week.
The preceding paid commercial program was brought to you by TD Wealth.